So hello, welcome to a new video again. This is I wouldn't say a short one, but turns out to be about an hour. But I had a weird problem that my bike has to go for maintenance. It's been 4,000 kilometers already, and then it starts yelling, and I couldn't reach them. So I decided in the last few days by phone. So I decided to just bike over there because, well, I needed to get my kilometers in for the day anyway. So we are going to drive from this area of town of Utrecht called Leidse to the center of Utrecht on a Saturday afternoon in September, which is I would say semi-busy. So I figured it was fun because we are also going to pass some of the most busy bicycle crossings in the Netherlands. Not on a top day, but on a let's say average Saturday. And we can already see there are much more kids and with parents out, so no school kids, but people just doing their Saturday thing, walking, bicycling, and even using cars. So you can already see quite a few people on bakfietsen, so box bikes, right, where they transport their kids in. And we also, when we are in this video, see quite a few younger kids on bicycles learning to bike or just moving with their parents, and there are some funny ones along the way. Again, this is still sort of being partly built, and we hear music on in the background because they are holding a party. And you can already see in this area, which is one of the main squares in a new area, this is the movie theater on your right, that there were quite a few bikes there. And if you've been on this channel before, you know that there's the yellow bridge in front of us is one that we are passing quite a lot. They are redoing this part, so I think they are going to add a separated bicycle path also here, or walking path. At least they are redoing it. And we are seeing quite a lot of road maintenance and changes along the way in this video. Also in the previous video, the next video, because I'm first doing this one, but I also recorded the one this morning, this is the afternoon, with a new hand glove camera, so just to see if that works. And there we also see some road management maintenance where they are trying something new. So if you want to see what that's about, watch that video. So this is quite a steep bridge. It's called the yellow bridge or the coffee bridge, and the reason why I guess mostly older people still call it the coffee bridge is that in front of us we see the coffee branding installation from Douwe Egberts, which is one of the famous coffee brands in the Netherlands. And the headquarters is over here. Yeah, that's why I still call it the coffee bridge. It got the name Yellow Bridge later on because the old bridge, this one has been there for I guess 15 years or something. The old bridge was white, so it was of course not called the Yellow Bridge. We see a train on our left, and when I talk about the bicycles being part of the train system, you can see that the same colors, right? The same colors of blue and yellow we will see on quite a few bikes because they are rental bikes from the NS station. I just started working for a new client, and I will probably make a video next week on a OV fiets or on an NS bike, so a train bike, where we are going to that location. But now I'm on my regular bike, which has done about 8,500 kilometers in the last year. So I wanted to send it in for maintenance, but I could not reach them on the phone. Hence this bicycle ride. Here you see again the blue and the yellow bike, which is one from the train station. It costs about €4.5, so about $5 a day. For 24 hours. Sorry. I think just to give you a reference, it's about €5 a day for the first 3 days, and then I think it's like $10 or something, or €10. You already noticed on a Saturday that there are quite a few cars, even in the inner city where we are later, because this kind of not on the outskirts but not in the inner city. It's quite busy with cars. So if people tell you there are no cars in the Netherlands, that's total not true. I would say it's a much more balanced sort of setup. So we see people in cars, on bikes and walking, and of course also using the public transport. Will be interesting to see what the numbers are, let's say on a Saturday for Utrecht. I would be surprised that it's kind of even. So the same amount of people going by car, by bus, which we see in front of us, by bicycle, or just walking around, or combining them. So the bus that we are seeing there is actually 28, and that's the main bus line between the two inner cities. So the new city center and the old city center. But we talked about this before, that this road is basically the road that connects these two areas. Notice how quiet it is, right? Of course, the microphone is not picking up everything, but the most noisy thing, and we talked about this before, is actually the scooters. The cars are driving not that fast, and they're getting more and more quiet in the last 25 years, of course. Most of the car noise is actually from the tires these days, but if you're not going that fast, then you don't have a lot of tire noise. Again, also talking about the cars, we just passed one, and I will point out more. Sometimes we see these red cars with a white sticker on the side, and they're actually, I think they're pretty sure they are a brand called Green Wheels, but I'm not sure, or something close to that. That does rental cars. So if you are talking about people less and less, especially the younger generation, not owning cars, but they do use cars, and then they might get one of these rents. And in Utrecht, this is quite a big one. You see them all over the place. I will try to point them out if I see them. Also, again, when you're in the Netherlands, of course, normally, unlike in the UK, you look to your right to see if something is coming, and it works quite well, except on the bike paths, like we are riding on now. Even if it's not allowed, you will get bikes coming from the other side. That also means that if you're crossing the road, so let's say later on we are going to use the crossroad, which we are now sort of riding into, where the two cycles are the people are walking from, that one. If you go to the other side, you also do pretty handy to look to your left, to your right, and to your left again, because there might be bicycles coming. And you already noticed here, and again, you do spot, I would say, 1 in 50 bikes, which is a rental bike. So last week I went into the central station, which we showed before, with the 12,000 bicycle parking spots, but they also have these rental bikes, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, because they need them, because lots of people, I will try to look it up and maybe I can find it for a later video. I'm wondering how many bicycles they have outstanding during the day in Utrecht. I'm guessing it's quite a lot. Let's see if we can multitask and if we can find that number while we are watching. So again, in front of us is the central station. And normally we will go, that's also why I'm making this video. Normally I would not take this route. So we are kind of not going a normal route where we are going outside of the city or in my normal let's call it loop. We are now going into another part of the city, which also means, and if you watch a lot of Dutch bicycle videos, we are going to cross the busiest bicycle path, especially during the week when the university is open in the Netherlands. I did find the number of NS rental bikes, and there are 1115 at the central station. And again, you see they are doing bicycle road work. They're changing something again. I would almost argue that all the bad parts of the cycling in Utrecht is because of rebuilding parts. And of course, yeah, well, you can't get new infrastructure if you don't smartly shut down old parts and rebuild them. So like I said, 1200 bikes in the central station area. There are probably more, of course, in different other parts. And for other brands, of course. But the one from Utrecht Central Station is 1115. And it's open 24 hours a day. With people, so you can just give your bike and they will check it in and check it out. Again, a kid on the bike. He is waiting for his dad, which is biking behind me, so I'm passing him, trying to figure out when to do it. So that, because of course he was afraid that he would cross the road already. So this is actually the busiest bicycle path in the Netherlands that we are now on. And you can see also how wide it is. And it's a, I would say a not so busy Saturday, but you can see there's lots of people biking and walking. Also notice that the amount of bicycles that we are seeing on, in the different areas. But also notice that I don't think in the whole hour, except somewhere in the end, we are hearing somebody using their bell, right? So all the negotiations is basically going on by just pointing, eye contact, anticipating onto each other. But you don't hear this bell, 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 ting, ting, ting going. Again, if you watch videos mostly recorded in Amsterdam, you might see that. But in other cities, people are way more relaxed. Doesn't mean that nothing happens ever, but you can see there's it looks like organized chaos, right? So even here, I'm anticipating that people will cross the road because there's a lot of people walking here in this area. This is a canal, and you can see people just cross the road all over the place, but nobody is sort of getting excited or yelling or even being scared, like, oh, when do I need to go? No, they just assume that things will work out. And they usually do. And if something goes wrong, the speed is so low that probably not much happens. See, she's holding her back because she doesn't want to go around the corner, and I am, so I'm going here. It was an interesting correction that you saw going. And again, the kid is being protected by the parent, which has another kid on the front of the bike, I guess. Yes. This used to be an extremely busy car road. It's still allowed for cars, as you can see, but then they added bicycle paths, and then there were so many bicycles at some point, they removed the bicycle paths again, and it just turned the whole thing into what we call a fietsstraat, so bicycle street, and now cars are guests. So you still have cars, and you can see people are just walking, sitting down, having drinks. And of course, bicycles, bicycles and bicycles. And bicycle shops, of course. And we are going to end up at one of them. But clearly it's not a car-free area, right? But it's also quite clear that if you're in a car, that you're not the master of the road. So this is actually quite busy at the moment. But you can see people are walking and different speeds, different attitudes, but in a way always relaxed. Now it might again look that I'm going really fast, because in the video the way that the camera works, it's a little bit lower, about belly level, so the steering arm level kind of a little bit lower. It looks faster than it actually is, so keep that in mind. That does not mean that people are not moving. People are, I would guess, most people are bicycling at about 20 kilometers an hour. I do a little bit faster, but I guess in this today it will be 20 kilometers an hour. It's also quite windy because look at the flags, they are moving. And of course we don't have any mountains, but we do have ridges, and we have wind, wind and wind. If you're lucky, then you have wind in your back all day, going to work and going from work, but most likely it's the other way around. You will have wind in your face in the morning and wind in the face when you get back. Again, two kids from, and they have the same backpack, so, and I'm kind of locking the guy on my right in, so I noticed that, but I can't really go, so we are both sort of waiting, and then I pass so that the other one can also pass. So these are actually quite long roads, but still in the inner city. That does not look overly stable, to be fair. People are having drinks outside. Oh, this is interesting. I think there's a car here on the next one. There it is, see? And I already brake because I noticed that he doesn't have a Dutch license plate. So I assume that they might be doing something weird, and he did not brake for me. Normally a Dutch person would have 99% sure done that. So when I noticed that they don't have a Dutch license on the back, so not a yellow license plate, I will preemptively brake. You also notice that we are crossing quite a lot of traffic lights, which are blinking yellow, because they just turn them off because they feel in the weekends, or if it's not too busy, that it just hinders the traffic. It does not help anybody. So we're already on the road where my bicycle shop is. In fact, we are almost there, but the entrance is in the back, at least the ones that I want to be. So I'm going to make a mistake, I bike too far, and then we are going to stop and we see the video jump to the next spot. I'm not sure why I was going here. Didn't make any sense. I left it in the video, like, okay, small mistake. Going around and around and around. I left it in because you can see it's quite a nice house there. And then go back again. And going to the left. And then we made it to the back end of the bicycle shop. Okay, we are going back. So the only thing that I did is I went in and set an appointment and have to wait for like 5 weeks before they want to do maintenance on my bike, which is fine. Of course they do repairs before they do maintenance, and it's by the end of it's getting to the end of the summer, and lots of people make their bikes winter ready, so they do maintenance in the October, November time frame. I'm wondering if you're watching many videos, you can also already see of the movement of people if they're on their phone, yes or no. Because I already knew that that guy was on his phone. You can see again the traffic lights are not on. Yep, and even in the inner city of racing bikes, he was going quite fast, but even then anticipating, hopefully. People doing their Saturday quick shopping. I figured they were together, but it was still not sure, and so I passed one. But then she is waiting, so I guess she was part of the other group. So she wants me to pass. I got passed by the guy who was already behind me before. Oh, did you see that he wanted to go to the right? So a lot of bicycles are going up to the bicycle or the walking path preemptively to go to the right. Again, we are back in the Fietsstraat, so the bicycle street. You can see in this case I had to sort of hold back and then give a little bit more to make sure that that worked out okay. But you already notice, even though this is probably if it would have been car road, it would be two cars and already quite tight for two cars. But it's quite easy to have like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different 5 or 6 bikes next to each other. So maybe 1 or 2 in one direction and 3 or 4 the other direction. And they would not even blink an eye in doing that. Again, this is the second time we are going to hit on a foreign car. Not this one, it's a Dutch car, but I'm pretty sure before the one in front of that one is a foreign car. And you can almost always notice that right away. So the red car is not sure what he is supposed to be doing. Slowing down, maybe looking for where he or she needs to go. And see the amount of bikes, right? And people, of course, sitting around. Most likely they came by bike. Again, just somebody passing, nothing spectacular happening, but he did pass. I don't know. I probably had like 1 or 2 seconds to react at the maximum, if I would have to react. I passed him on purpose, just to check if it indeed is a foreign car, and it is. Normally I would have stayed behind him, but I was like, I want to see if that is indeed a car. People taking pictures. Again, this is in the inner city of Utrecht, so if we are talking about the canals, it's difficult to see, but on the left and the right is one of the main canals. You can see it's quite busy, even if it's the tourist period is over, you can see that it's still quite busy. Again, we are entering what is probably one of the busiest bicycle roads in the Netherlands. I'm weaving around a little bit. Again, notice nobody is using their bell to in anger. There will be in about 2 minutes. I'm not sure what this guy was. He was behind me, quite a distance behind me. and he was using his bell, but he didn't seem to pass many people because he kept being behind me, so I'm not sure what he was doing. Oh, you do notice that this is probably one of the busiest bike traffic jams in working days. But you did notice that quite a few people are going on the walking area and just using that as a bicycle path. But imagine that if this would all be cars, it would be quite busy, right? And in front of us is again, notice how late she gave direction. In front of us we see the central station area again. Hold it back in, and there we go. Again, kid on the two kids on the bicycle. You see that parents tend to lock them in a way that they is less likely that they will be hit from a bicycle from the other side, which of course is a protective move from the parents. I think in the next video I'm going to put online, you see a kid which is way ahead of his parents and then stopping in the middle of the road. This was quite funny. There's somebody complaining here that we are on the walking path, because we have to, because they are redoing it. And she's actually complaining to the one next in front of me, like, "Hey, you're on the walking area." Yeah, we can't help it. They're doing it. On purpose, I'm taking a little bit of a different route to the other part of the city, because otherwise it gets too boring. Of course, she is just continuing to ride because it's kind of blocked anyway. I was lucky because this guy in the white car is getting bored about being stuck in traffic, and so he gets out and he leaves his friend and he just goes where he needs to go walking. She's also going to red. And he's like, "No, I'm done with this. I'm going. Bye bye, see you later." See, it looks messy and people are doing their thing, but everything is going in this flow. The picture gets a little bit dark at times. I'm still trying to figure this out with this new camera setup, but we are riding directly into the sun, so that is why it's doing that. So normally I would go to my right over here, but I'm now continuing straight on, which was a mistake because I figured they redone this road as a bicycle road up ahead, but they are not far from finished, so this still looks quite messy. No, I will continue. But they are going to do this area. And actually we see up ahead they are working, and we have to leave this road because they are working. I grew up in this area. So one of the side streets is actually where I grew up. This one. But here we have to take a ride. People outside having a drink. And again, bicycles on every street. And this is a typical road for in the Utrecht. It's a little bit different than Amsterdam, which most of the time the houses in the outer areas are a little bit higher, more floors. This is kind of more what we have in Utrecht, in many different areas of the city. And we get back to one of the other main roads again. Be careful getting on the bicycle path because they might come from both directions. And here we're going to cross the road where we talked about like 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. And I said make sure that you check on your left and your right because there might be bicycles coming from both sides. Even if you don't officially, it's not allowed. In this case it is allowed, but even then they would do it anyway. So here would also always check on your left and your right. Again, normally I would go forward directly to the yellow bridge again, but I'm going to take a right just to have a little bit of a different path that we are traveling. I'm going to take a right and then a left and then a right. Again, here you see a car with the rental car with a white dot thingy on it. And a foreign car. Not that he made a mistake. I just pointed out it's not yellow, blue again is Dutch one. Quite a bumpy road, so normally this would not be preferred for both cars and for bicycles. Almost getting back to the next road, which is we've been on that before. It's basically the bicycle, let's call it highway between the two city areas. I don't like it because there's speed bumps, but that's another story. But you can see it's a very wide bicycle path which is used in the morning by students and people going to work and in the afternoon to get back. But there's speed bumps because cars are loud and it's so straight that they might speed up. So they decided to put speed bumps there. And that's why I don't like this road. Although the surface is fine. And next to it we have the main railroad. We don't see it, but bumpy. Rolling back a little, and there we go again. It's quite funny. We will see an e-bike or a fat bike, a little fat bike, and there are 3 kids on there, a guy with 2 girls, and again they are doing the trick where one of them is pedaling, the front girl is pedaling, the guy is putting his feet backwards, locking them in with the third girl, which is interesting. Hopefully you can see it. You see the first girl is pedaling, and he locked his back feet into her legs in a way, or on the pedal thingies. So 3 kids, I wouldn't say joyriding, but they are having fun. On an e-bike going quite fast, so going about 25 kilometers an hour. They almost don't make the corner here. Whoa, and there they go. I tried to follow them for a while because I was not sure what they were doing with the feed part. So I was like, but it was quite tricky. I'm pretty sure this was unlocked, so they can go faster than they're supposed to go. So I was trying to keep up with them, going on the bridge. And losing, by the way, because it took me quite some effort to catch them again. So proof that we also have terrible youngsters doing illegal things. Of course, he's sometimes semi-yelling at the first girl that she needs to start or stop pedaling. Because he's doing the steering, she's doing the pedaling. With, of course, e-bike support. Again, the reason why they need to do it, because this one at least, they don't have a throttle. So normally an e-bike in America would have a throttle. That's not allowed in the Netherlands. In this case, this one doesn't have any. So she needs to pedal because otherwise the assisted biking does not work. So she probably doesn't have to put a lot of power in there, leg power, but she does have to keep it moving. Closing in on the Leidse-Rijn centrum, so that's the new area centrum. The second city center, if you want to be precise. So I think in the future 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people in Utrecht city are supposed to be living in this part of the city. I think they are now about at 75% or something. Because they're still building. We talked about it before. We are now going to cross over one of the busiest highways of the Netherlands. You don't notice it, but we are about to go right over it. We are now on top of a major highway, which is in a tunnel below this area. You also notice that there's parking entrance there, so for if you want to go into this shopping area, you can park downstairs with your car. So again, it's not like they are car unfriendly, they just set limits. Actually, if you see the concrete on the side, you might have to go back because I was a little bit late. If you see the concrete on the side, that's actually a tunnel where trucks can come in by the other tunnel. So in the side, the big tunnel, there's a sideway inside the tunnel, and they can sort of take a right and then enter under the shopping area to supply the goods, and then they need to do a loop-the-loop. There's a roundabout below ground, and then they can loop back and get into the tunnel again and go away. So basically they can come from the highway, go into the tunnel, underground, go under the city center, deliver the goods, there's special areas for that, then they can go out again and exit the tunnel. And we are at the end of our bicycle ride to the bicycle shop, because they were not picking up their phone. They admitted that they were not doing it on purpose. So that's nice to know. So see you in the next one. Bye bye. 3, 2, 1, and I think this is the end. Almost. Maybe. Click.